Today, we are working on the application server Apache Tomcat, okay, and something about a web application. What is a web application? What is a web server? What is app server? What's the difference between both of them? Okay, and what is the typical functionalities of an app server? And all those things we'll see it. Now today, we'll see an enterprise application deployment manually. How typically an application deployment will consist. Okay. So now what I will do, I'll just take a look at a new notepad. So deployments. Typically, when we say deployments, right, application deployments, okay, so there are certain steps involved in it. Okay, so I'm trying to note down all those steps theoretically. So same thing we'll see practically how we do it. Okay, so first and foremost, let's try to identify use environment. Okay, so when I say identify environment, nothing but your app deployment servers. Okay. Next, so once you identify the servers, uh, package the artifacts. Okay, pointing to respective environment. So what do you mean by this is, see, whenever we are preparing any build artifacts, okay, so the build artifact should be packaged such a way that it should be localized to the respective environment. Suppose you are building it for a development environment, you are building it for a QA environment, okay, something like that. So you have to localize all your configuration parameters with respect to that environment. I'll give an example for that when you're working with the project. Next, so once you're ready with the artifacts and the servers and all, uh, next thing is bring down the services. Okay, so what do you mean by this is, you might be already having an environment up and running with your previous deployment. Okay, so before deploying anything else, you have to bring it down. Okay, so that can be app server, that can be DB, that can be web service, whatever. Okay, you have to bring it down. And next thing is, so once you bring it down, you have to take the backup of existing deployment. So what do you mean? I mean, this is optional guys. What do you mean by optional? This it's up to you based on severity or the importance of your environment. If it's really that critical environment, you really want to take the backup of it, then you can go like a production and staging. If it's a kind of a normal dev and QA environments, mostly we don't take any backup and all. Okay, but this is also one of the steps, crucial step, where we can quickly roll it back to the previous deployment if something goes wrong. Okay. Fifth thing is then actual deployment. Okay, deployment is nothing but in a layman language, copy the artifacts to the hosted machine or deployment server. Okay, so here a hosted machine is your app server. It can be DB, whatever. Okay, so there you need to deploy it. And this deployment, again, two things: front end and back end deployment. Right? Always the back end deployment should be done first. Okay, so what do you mean by this is, you have to do the database deployment first, always. Okay, and then the front end deployment, so which is going to be a app deployment. Okay, so this you have to do it next. So this is what the sequence which you need to follow. And finally, so once you're done with the deployment, okay, we are not finished it. We have to bring up these services. So we have to bring up the services. We bring down, right? So nothing but we stop the services here. Okay. Now we need to bring up the services. Okay. So this can be done. Whatever the applications are which you host. Okay. You have to bring it up and you have to start the services. And finally, you have to perform a sanity check that we call as smoke testing. Okay. Or you can call it as a sanity testing. Sanity testing. So these are all the steps involved in typical deployment. Okay, now all these steps we have to perform if you want to complete your entire deployment. Once you're done with your smoke testing and all, the final step is going to be reporting the running environment details to end stakeholders. Okay, so here the stakeholders are going to be your QA team. Okay, for QA environment. Okay, for performance team. For ultimate production environment, it's your customers. Okay, so you have to report them. Okay, so these are all the steps involved in typical deployment process. So all these steps we should know how we do it manually. Okay, and once you see the manual deployment and how you're gonna automate that. Okay, so I want to show you first the manual deployment. If you don't know any tool and all, if you don't know any scripting and all, how you typically do the deployment. Okay, and once you do the entire deployment, you need to identify what are the pain points and all. Okay, so let's see an application deployment. So just pick up an application, G drive. G drives. Where is that? Yeah, I have an application called leader. So I want to walk you through with this application. Okay? So this is what my application. Just copy this application to G drive. Well, we are working on the G drive. Check it out work. I'm just creating a directory called leader. Paste it here. I'm just bringing the entire source code from there to here. Okay, and try to delete these things. Just delete this folder. Okay, so this is a typical Java project with the front end and the back end. Okay, and this is a lead app application which is having a typically web application. Actually. Okay, so you can see the support structure. When we see web root and this JSP and all, of course it is going to be in a web application. Okay, and if you look at the source code, it is not a Maven based one. It's a purely AND based project. You can see a build.xml and build.properties and all. Okay, so the script is and all everything ready, guys. That build script, because you don't concentrate more on the build side right now. A project with the build script is ready. You just have to run the build, and you should be able to get a packaged WAR file. If you want, you can check it out. And WAR. Okay, sorry guys, I think I don't have an ant here, so let me try to set up ant in this machine. Apache and I think we might be having an ant in our older folders, right? I think instead of downloading it again in G2 files. Yeah, we have ant practice on and come on, nowhere it contains them. Apache ant, yeah, finally it is there somewhere here. Just copy this to softwares and okay, I just copied here. Let me set the environment variable. Properties, environment variables, go to the path variable and the end. Just see, okay, and try to open a new command prompt and check it out. Yes, it is working here. Okay, so go to the G drive, go to the work, go to the lead app, and tool and ant. Okay, it is there inside the term and war. Just perform this. That's it. It built a war. Okay. Now you go to the G drive, work, lead app, and inside the disk you can find inside the lib a war file. So this is what my ultimate web application which I need to deploy. Okay, that's for the front end part. But I told you something else in this application where I have even the database as well, which is the backend. Okay, so the backend scripts, which right now the backend is a database. I'm going to use a MySQL as my database right now. Okay, so go to the trunk. Inside the SARC, I have a database called inside the source I have a Java code and database code. Okay, it's a very tiny database. Schema.sql is a file which is going to be a developer. If you're going to be able to run this script in a MySQL database, okay, so that will create a schema, entire database schema for my application. Okay, that's what I need to run. So to do that right, first of all, you should know something about the MySQL. Okay, see, MySQL is a basic database. Typically, pretty much all the databases, the queries and all pretty much same. Okay, so you can make use of any database tool like Oracle, MySQL, SQL Server, okay, DB2, whatever. The SQL scripts are almost 90% it will be same except few syntaxes and all. Okay, so let's follow these steps. Identify the environment. Nothing but I need to identify my server first, destination server. Okay, so my destination is server. I'm going to use this actually. I have a Linux machine here. So let's take this Linux machine, okay, and I have a Tomcat also here, application server, okay, and I need to check MySQL here. Am I having MySQL? I don't think I have a MySQL here, guys. Okay, so mostly I think I have to install the MySQL in my Linux instance. Okay, this seems to be Ubuntu machine. I cannot install with the normal user. Let's try to uh, check it with the what do you call it, root user. Okay, put in what is the IP address of this. We can install it from here, not an issue. apt get install MySQL. Unable to locate package MySQL. Is it MySQL? Come on. Ubuntu MySQL. Actually, in CentOS it is pretty easy. You can install and all. Let me see what is there in the MySQL. So he's saying to update or upgrade it. Oh, first I have to run this install MySQL server. Okay, let's see. Yes. Things are not fine in this machine. I'll do one thing, guys. I'll make use of my cloud machine itself. My migrant instance are not working, so let's make use of my cloud instance. Easy to use. I'm having MySQL here. Even I don't have MySQL here. Okay. Sudo su etc nad MySQL. Nothing to do. I have some issues with my MySQL thing and the Linux machine. Guys, I don't want to waste time on setting up MySQL right now here. Okay, let's proceed with the further things. I'll just park the MySQL installation, because as part of deployment there is no MySQL installation here in your steps. You have to do the DB deployment, but as a prerequisite you must and should have a MySQL installation. I'll try to fix that. Okay, I'll set up the MySQL properly. Okay, instead of debugging and all in this time. So what I will do it for initially. Anyway, we are while doing all these steps. Okay, so we'll block with something called like automation part. Okay, we can do all these things easily. It's not a big deal to like do the deployments. It's pretty simple. You built a var, right? You just start to do the SCP to your remote Apache Tomcat server. Okay, so you have a Tomcat server here, right? So in your Linux machine, just now we extracted config. Harry Apache Tomcat Web Apps. You just go here and try to do the SCP from your machine to the remote machine. Okay, so that's going to be your deployment of your front end application. Only thing is you have to do the back end deployment, as MySQL is not available right now. I'm not just proceeding with this. You just have to do that. See, bringing down the service, my server is already down nothing, but you just start to make shutdown.sh. That's it. Okay, see, by default assume like your Tomcat is running. Okay, Java home is not set. Yeah, I think I need to set Java. Last time we already set this, but that machine is gone, guys. It's something. It's a new machine actually. Okay, so I'll just keep this aside. Okay, I'll prepare the instance with the MySQL, the Java home and everything. Okay, then I'll come back to these steps and I'll show you manually, and I'll also continue automation. Okay, because anyway, even I show you the manual steps here. Okay, and ultimately I have to show you the automated deployment, automation of deployment. Okay, so this is where I need a help of some tool or some scripting. Okay, I need the help of either a tool or a scripting. Okay, so most of the time, right, for this kind of small application deployments or any kind of manual task automation block, we depend on scripting instead of a tool, especially when it comes to the deployment work. Okay, so that's the reason whoever is going with this role or skill set, right, they must should have a understanding or a skill of scripting. Okay, it can be any scripting. Mostly if you're working with the Linux environment or Unix side. Okay, so they expect you to know the shell scripting. So shell scripting kind of the expert's default skill set for your role. Okay, so without the shell scripting, even some tool and all, they think it's a kind of a lack of some scripting skills. Okay, so this is mandatory mostly for this role. Any build automation scripting, at the same time shell scripting. Okay, the shell scripting not only for deployments, we can use the skill for any kind of automation. Okay, any kind, nothing but any task which you do it repetitively. Okay, one thing is repetitive, another thing is which is time consuming. Okay, another thing which is a complex. Okay, if you could able to sort out, okay, or if you could able to provide a solution for these three problems, okay, with any scripting. Okay, so that is really added advantage for your ultimately your team tasks and all. Okay, so you can you can automate, you can give a solution only with the scripting. You cannot do you cannot suggest or provide any tool as a solution for any kind of automation. Okay, but we have tools only for the deployment automation. Okay, but scripting is not only for deployment. See, using scripting you can do the deployment automation, also you can perform some other activities, but using tool you can only do the deployment automation, you cannot do anything else. Okay, so that's the reason people expect, if you know the scripting, right, okay, even you don't know some tool, also not an issue. Okay, because tool is something specific to one environment and you can just learn by yourself and you can execute it, but scripting is not specific to one automation and all. It's kind of a generic skill set where you can implement anything whatever you want it. So as part of my training in my curriculum, so I told you guys we will be going to the shell scripting. Okay, now I will go to shell scripting for this today's session. Okay, so by next session and all, we'll anyway we will use the shell scripting to automate our deployment. So by the time I'll prepare my entire environment with a proper Linux machine, MySQL, Java and all, then we'll work on that. Okay, let's not waste time on setting up those things, because those are pretty easy. I have issues with my Linux instances. That's it. Okay, so let's work on the scripting side today. Okay. Okay, so that's what my agenda actually. So I thought of explaining that because it's pretty simple. If things are there, it hardly takes 10 minutes to complete the manual deployment. Fine. So now the scripting part I will be explaining by comparing everything with any of the programming language. Okay, because pretty much every scripting, every programming language, any kind of a coding, right? Okay, there is a base for every coding, which is like, most of if you know one programming language, okay, learning other programming language is the kind of like easier or self-explanatory if you go to the syntaxes. Okay, it's nothing actually, because every programming language or every scripting language you take it, right? Okay, it contains the same functionality, same concepts and all. Okay, only thing is you need to understand the syntaxes, okay, and the way how they are written and the way how they are executing. That's it. Okay, and if anybody knows a basic programming language, which is C, okay, programming language C language, okay, C as a basic programming language. If you know it right, learning any scripting is pretty easy. It can be shell, it can be Perl, it can be Python, whatever. Okay, so there are multiple scriptings are said, guys. I just mentioned shell only, but Perl, Python, okay, Ruby, and PowerShell, PS. Okay, the many are there. Okay, for every scripting or every program, the base is going to be a C language. Okay, if you are good at C, not only C, it can be any programming language. Even if you know Java also, fair enough. Okay, because whatever you learn in C, you will again learn in the Java. Only thing is the syntax and all different. Now, my main intention was, if you know any programming language, okay, so it will be really easy for you to understand each and every concept which I'm going to explain, because I'll compare everything with the put any programming language. I mean, you can take C, Java, whatever. Okay, I'll just compare everything. Now, when you're learning any programming language in the day one, okay, so first day, what do you learn? Okay, so typically, so people say we will try to print hello world on the console. That's it. Okay, we'll try to write a hello world program. Okay, so before writing the hello world program and all, I would ask you, like, how to set up, okay, your environment for your hello world. Okay, if it is a C language, you have to install a turbo C installer. Okay, if it's a Java, you have to install a JDK or like a JRE, whatever. Okay, if it is a .NET, you have to install a Microsoft framework. Okay, .NET framework. So similarly, when you wanted to do any shell script, okay, when you wanted to write any script called shell script or visual script, especially for the shell, you need to set up any what do you call you don't just install any software or any external exes, whatever. You don't install anything, because shell itself is a interface between, okay, interface between you and the OS. Okay, so using shell, you are talking to your OS. Okay, and only thing is, all the set of commands which you run on the console on the shell, you group them into one file and you execute together. That's called the shell script, nothing else. Okay, and we have different types of shell scripts. Okay, so bash is one, Corn is one, okay, C shell is one. There are many are there. Okay, these are the popular shells. Among them, bash is the most popular shell. Okay, if you want, you can just see ls minus la. You can see bash as. Okay, so these are the bash profile. Typically, like bash shell hidden files. Okay, where it contains the home directory loading profile configurations. Okay, so we are going to write a script which is compatible for the bash shell, guys. Okay, and the shell will be installed with your OS at this location, bin sh. Can you see sh here? So this is what the shell software. So if you wanted to execute any shell, typically we provide sh and your file.sh. Okay, and the extension of your shell script, okay, extension is going to be .sh. Guys, this .sh is up to you whether you give it or don't give it. It will work. Then you not worry about it. Whether do I need to give it. See, it's just a kind of symbolic representation where you need to identify this is a shell script by looking at the files. Okay, but it's not a mandatory one. Okay.
Sir, what is bash? Can you repeat again?
Okay, bash is a shell type. Okay, so shell type nothing but as Linux is the open source. Okay, I'll give you a diagrammatical way so that you understand. MS Paint. I hope everybody must be aware of this stack. Uh, this is going to be a hardware. Okay, this is going to be your kernel, and this is going to be your OS, operating system. Okay, and this is going to be your shell. Okay, you can call it as a command prompt or DOS prompt in Windows. Okay, and finally you have another layer called UI. Okay, so this is what your Windows UI typically. Okay, so right now the Linux, we are not working in a UI, you are working at shell here. Okay, so you are directly interacting with the shell to communicate with the operating system, kernel, and to perform the thing. Okay, so if it is a Windows operating system, you will be working at UI level. Okay, so even in Linux you can work with the UI level, but nobody provides a UI for Linux because of the performance issues and all. Mostly Linux servers we work with shell only. So if you could able to write any code here, okay, any script, okay, in this shell, and you make it work in that shell, okay, that we call the that respective shell script. Okay, so the shell is not, the shell will be having a name based on the providers. Okay, we have different providers are there in the market, like Ubuntu, CentOS, Red Hat, okay, Fedora and all. Okay, so all these people can make use of some shells. Okay, so they can prepare their own shells and all. So bash is one type of shell. See, when it comes to Windows world, you don't have a choice there. Microsoft, whatever he gives, you need to use it. So from the day one, he is giving the DOS for you. Okay, discovering the story, you can call it the command prompt also. Okay, so command prompt is the only shell he is giving it. Okay, so when it comes to the Linux is an open source world. You can have multiple types of shell because different people will prepare their own thing. So among them, bash shell is one. This is also called Bourne shell. Okay, and there's one more shell is there, corn shell. Okay, and one more is there, C shell. C shell is typically like entirely you write the C program space, okay, to communicate with your OS, right? So these are the different types of shells available with respect to the Linux operating systems. Okay, did you understand what even by bash now?
No, understood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so now we are working on a bash shell right now. Okay, so that's the reason I represent it as a bash. Okay, bash or Bourne shell, whatever you can call it in any name. Okay, and if you look at the Linux instance, any Linux instance, inside the bin. Okay, so go to the bin, and here uh, you can find sh actually, lssh star. Can you see sh? So this is a file called like your shell executable. Okay, so using this you can execute any shell script. And before proceeding with the hello world program and all, okay, now I wanted to show, give you an explanation of what is the difference between scripting and programming. So you might be thinking, can a developer use shell script to write a web application? Okay, this might be your question. So people may ask you this kind of question even. Can you write a Perl script to like uh, prepare a web page and accept something and talk to the database? Okay,